everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the C Squad. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So last week in my freshers advice video, I told you guys about how I transferred from the University of the Witwatersrand in South Africa to the University of Sussex in the UK. And I just thought I'd let you guys in on how I actually completed the transfer process because it was a process, okay? So yeah, if you guys also want to hear about why I transferred universities, then drop a comment below, hit the like button so that I know, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because when I make that video, you're gonna want to be here. So yeah, basically I wrote down all my tips and tricks in my little notebook here like a good little YouTuber. And so if you see me glancing down, that is what I'm looking at. So yeah, to start things off, basically there are two types of transfer students. So the first kind is somebody who isn't really enjoying their course and isn't really enjoying the university and wants to transfer and change courses. Now this is a much simpler process because a lot of universities allow people to transfer into first year. So that is more similar to when somebody is going from high school to university, and that can be a separate video if you guys want it to be. So the process of applying to the UK directly from Matric, I can totally give you guys advice on that because I did that. This video is going to be more centered around the second type of transfer student. So that would be a student who is enjoying their course, wants to continue doing their degree, but just wants to create a seamless transition from their old university to their new university. The first thing you need to know about this is that you cannot simply transfer into the third year or final year of your course. Another thing that you need to know is that the UK doesn't transfer credits. What they do is they perform a direct second year entry. So pretty much what they're saying is they're not going to look at your second year and they're not going to grade you on that. They're just going to put you directly into second year and you go from there, which is what I did. So when you're applying to the UK, you use a system called Ucas, and that is where you put all your choices for your universities. You are allowed 5 courses maximum. So when they say 5 courses, essentially you can apply for 1 or more courses at the same university, or you can apply for 1 course at 5 different universities. If you're a transfer student, I would recommend that you are applying to 5 different universities with the course that you are currently doing. I wouldn't really recommend applying for different courses because the chances of you changing courses and being able to go into second year are very slim. So another thing is that UCAS will tell you that if you're interested in transferring into second year, that you need to contact these universities directly. The reason for this is that you need to see whether you're even eligible to transfer to that university or if that university even accepts transfers into that degree program. So when you're emailing universities, the purpose is to see whether the university would even be interested in looking at your application and would be interested in accepting you into their institution. The first bit of advice I have about emailing these universities is check their website, because a lot of their websites will tell you whether they even accept transfer students and which degree programs they accept transfer students to. So I'm going to look at my laptop. And if we type in University of Sussex transfer students, so you can pretty much do this with whichever university, so University of Birmingham or University of Sussex transfer students. So if we go here, we have a nice little page transferring from other universities, and it pretty much tells you that they accept transfers into most of their second year programs, and they accept first year entry into all of their programs. And then they show you which courses they only accept transfers into first year for. So you cannot go into second year if you are studying accounting, business, law, medicine, psychology, pretty much things that you figure you wouldn't be able to transfer into. So the reason why you look beforehand is if you're studying law and you want to transfer to the University of Sussex, you're simply, hate to say, kind of wasting your time because they're not going to accept you because they don't accept transfers. So you pretty much do that so that you do not waste your time and you aren't emailing universities that you have no chance of getting into. So when it comes to emailing the universities, I think it's best to show you how to do it from an example of how I did it. So here is an email I sent the University of Durham. And basically what I said was, good day, I am a second year computer science student at the University of the Witwatersrand in South Africa. I'm interested in transferring to your institution this year. I would like to find out if I'm eligible for direct second year entry. So the bit of advice I'd give to you when you're emailing these universities, because you're going to be emailing a lot of them, In theory, it sounds so easy, like, oh yeah, 5 universities or 5 courses that I can apply to. But I received a lot of rejections, so I had to constantly be emailing universities because for maybe every 10 universities I emailed, only one of them said that they would be interested in seeing my application. So keep your emails ambiguous. Do not make it so specific. As you can see here, I said I'm interested in transferring to your institution this year. I didn't say I'm interested in transferring to University of Birmingham this year. I kept it very ambiguous. If we continue reading, I said attached below is my grade 12 National Senior Certificate and my first year university transcript. So universities want to see your transcripts. Some universities might even want to see your transcripts from year 10 and year 11, so definitely keep a scanned copy on your computer ready to go if they ask for it. Or you could just do what I didn't do and just send them to the university anyway. Then here I said I've also attached below a link to the syllabus for my relevant courses for my first year university modules. So basically, universities want to see your module descriptions. They want to read about your courses and see whether the courses are similar to the courses that they have at their university. The more similar your modules are, the higher your chances of getting accepted into that university are, because you've obviously studied similar things to that university. And then I went on to say, I would also like to note that by the end of June 2019, I would have completed several second-year university first semester courses, and I would have received credits for these first semester courses. So basically, in South Africa, the school year is February to November. So I had started my second year in February, and by June, I would have finished I did finish my first semester of second year, so I had completed certain modules and gained credits for them by June. So I wanted the universities to know that I had done those courses as well. Pretty much I was just trying to show that I had gotten more programming experience as well, because that's really important in computer science. Then I went on to say the PDF below contains module information for the different course codes on pages whatever. So basically what I ended up having to do is I went and I got the WITS prospectus, and that pretty much contained a list of modules that the university has and descriptions for each of those modules. Most universities have your modules on the page that your course is, so instead of doing what I did where I had to use the prospectus, you can just attach a link of your course into your email and they can go and see it there. Now, some universities might email you back and ask you for additional information. Because I'm doing computer science, I got a lot of questions about what kind of languages I can program in and what kind of programs I made in those languages. I got questions about my proficiency in English, whether I learned in English in high school and in university. Another thing, this is a very grueling process, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're probably gonna receive a lot of rejection, and it's not rejection based on you or even your grades sometimes. It's just a reflection of your university and the kind of things that they decided to teach you in your first year. So a lot of universities would come back to me and either say, oh, we don't accept transfer students, and that was the end of the conversation. Or they would come back to me and they would say, your modules are just too different from ours. We can't accept you into second year, but we can accept you into first year. So yeah, it happens sometimes, and it's not really your fault. I had a lot of universities tell me that my grades were good, but because the modules were just too different, it just wasn't a fit. So yeah, that leads me to my next point. If you are applying to transfer, your grades need to be good. The thing about it is, if you are close to failing your course already at your current university, a lot of universities might not want to accept you as a transfer student. The reason being is accepting a transfer student is a risk on the university's part. If you get to the university and you crash and burn because you're not at the same level as your peers, and you end up dropping or failing out, that is a reflection on the university that affects their rankings and all that stuff. So you are a risk as a transfer student, so they do want people that they think will be able to complete their degree at their university. So just to give you guys an idea as to how your grades might need to be, my lowest grade in first year was 68%, and I had like about 4 A's. So essentially, you want maybe your lowest grade to be in the 60s. I had universities tell me that I needed a 75% average. They wanted me to finish my second year with 80% in my computer science courses and 70% in my other courses. So that gives you an idea as to how your grades need to be in order to apply to transfer. Okay, so now going into the actual process of applying on Ucas, you have 5 course options, and the way that you narrow down your options are obviously by the results that you get from the university. So the universities will either let you know that they are not interested in seeing an application from you, or that they are interested in seeing an application from you. Some won't even go through your module descriptions and your transcripts like that. I sent some to some universities who didn't even look at them and just pretty much told me, you can apply if you want to, or don't, pretty much. So yeah, sometimes you're gonna have to have a bit of discernment and look through the modules yourself and decide, are they similar enough for me to apply? Does this make sense? Another thing is, when you're applying, obviously you're applying for point of entry 2, so they have different options. 0 is foundation, 1 is first year, and 2 is second year, so obviously you're applying for second year. Another thing is, I believe you won't be able to insert your grades into Ucas. You will be able to insert your high school grades, and I believe what I did is I inserted like my university, but I wasn't able to actually put my grades in. So usually the universities after will email you again sometimes for your transcripts, or some universities have a portal where you can upload your documents. Another thing is the Ucas deadline. By the time this video goes up, the deadline would have passed, and I did that intentionally because this video is not exactly meant for students in the UK. If you're an international student, you most times do not have until the end of June to apply. Yeah, they're not as strict with the deadline with international students. I still say apply as soon as possible, because the sooner you apply, the sooner you get an answer from the universities. Some universities are very strict about the 15th of January deadline and will not accept applications after that. So next thing is the personal statement, which I think is one of the most stressful things about applying to university in the UK. Basically, it's just supposed to show your passion and enthusiasm for the subject, and most times as an international student, they just want to see that you're proficient in English. So you have a one-up in the situation compared to a high school student who's applying for a degree that they haven't really had much experience in. You are somebody who has done your degree for a year or over a year, and you do know what the degree is like, so you can speak on a level of passion that a high school student cannot, so that's good for you. In my personal statement, I mentioned a lot about my first year. Well, actually, I did like a little story. I talked about like how in high school I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and then I just kind of started coding, and when I applied for university, I still wasn't really sure if that was something I wanted to do, and then I had so many sleepless nights coding and all this stuff and stressing me out, and how eventually I just kind of started to fall in love with it, and how I'm really passionate about the subject, and that's pretty much how my personal statement was. That's kind of roughly what it was about. Yeah, do not plagiarize your Ucas personal statement, because they do keep a database of all the previous personal statements and they will catch you, so don't steal my personal statement idea. It's not even that good to be stolen, but yeah. So definitely do make sure that you mention like your first year, and mention like your experiences with it, because that's going to just show how much passion and dedication you have for the subject. Now the next thing is a reference. Most universities want you to have a reference that can speak on your work ethic and speak on you as a person, and whether you'll be good in this particular subject. So I thought I could just go to my high school and get my principal to write me a reference and everything was going to be Gucci. No, that was not the case. Basically, the universities told me that they wanted a reference from a member of staff at my current university. And I know a lot of people in university will relate to this. Basically, like in university, it's very hard to create relationships with lecturers and professors, because half the time they don't even know your name. So when it came to this, I was very stressed out because I didn't know who was going to write my statement. Basically, I did hit some snags. I went to some people who told me that they did not feel comfortable writing a personal statement for me because they did not know me personally and they couldn't speak on my work ethic and me as a person. So yeah, just make sure that you do develop some relationships with people in case you do need a reference. I was eventually able to find somebody, so yay, but do make sure that you have some people who know you and who are willing to write a reference for you. And finally, the cost of the application is £25, I believe, and you'll be well on your way to transferring universities. So let me know if these tips helped, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to join the C Squad, and hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload new videos. I upload every Sunday at 5 p.m. GMT. Bye guys.